Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Report for Aquarius for December 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, if you'd love to book a live reading. Also, definitely check out my extensive astrology and other blogs there, and free goodies for you on my website that you can find from signing up for my free email newsletter. Okay, so what's going on in the month of December? We have a beautiful wrap up to this very retrograde focused year. We've got all of the makings for true change and major breakthroughs from all of the things that have gone on in the retrograde cycle. As the month goes on, we are getting free of the energies of the personal planet retrogrades and opening up for a really brand new slate. If you've been listening to my reports for a while, you know that I often will say that some Januaries don't feel like New Year's because of the astrological transits. They're more inward or they're more backward. But this year is a true New Year. So throughout the month of December, continuing to wrap up unfinished business. And as the month goes on towards the end of the month, we get to completely take the cloak of these retrogrades off. And then once we get into January, we'll have all of the planets, not just the personal planets, moving direct. This is a very rare occurrence, and it really sets up for a clean slate for moving forward, for being able to take beautiful action on the opportunities that are coming. And for Aquarius, there are lots of opportunities because all the planets in Sagittarius, every planet that's moving through Sagittarius, the personal planets, and then of course we talked about Jupiter is going to be also giving you kisses, because Sag energies are in a beautiful aspect to Aquarian energies. They're supportive mathematical angles from the astrological perspective. So when the planets get into Sag, it gives all your Aquarius planets a boost. So lots of opportunities will abound, lots of busyness, wonderful, good flowing, and definitely chances to have a new life and to have major breakthroughs and to do things that you've been wanting to do. Since I had such a wonderful showing of people who loved the visuals to have the charts, I'm going to do that again, okay? So I'm going to show you what the charts look like for the early, middle, and late degree placements for Aquarius. And if you don't know what early, middle, and late degree placements mean, I'll go into that as well. And then we're also going to talk about where the eclipses are going to hit, because eclipses may bring major trajectory changes, and if you can't even believe we're in eclipse season again. So the eclipses that are in January, we're going to start feeling them even as soon as the last part of November, and definitely December is hot time for eclipse changes and news to be coming in. So I want to let you know where that first eclipse in January is going to hit, because that's really hot for December. And then in the January report, I'll talk about where the second eclipse is going to hit, so that between December and January, you'll have a thorough understanding of the implications, of the potential implications for this eclipse season. Okay, so let's take a look at those charts. Hello, Aquarius friends. I had such wonderful feedback. Everybody that got back to me said they loved having the visuals for the charts that I use, so I'm continuing that format. So in case you haven't figured this out already, I am an astrology teacher, and my greatest love is teaching astrology. So while I, yes, am focused on telling you what energies you're working with and what you can do with them, and that is the point of understanding astrology, is to be able to place your energy in the best way and align your efforts with the astrological cycles and understanding the things that are going on to help you. And at the same time, I'm a teacher of astrology, so I like to take the time to show certain things so that you're learning as you are watching. And so if you're not interested in learning astrology, you'll still be able to pick up great tidbits, but they will be in between some of this education, because that's my greatest love. So let's look at these charts. You can see we've got 3 charts here. From what I understand, most astrologers generally use one chart, and usually that tends to be an early or middle degree chart. There are differences in the charts. Sometimes there are some similar energies going on for early, middle, and late degree placements. Sometimes there's a staggering of effects, and so I will talk about some things that will be the same for all placements, and I'll talk about the places where the charts differ. So to determine if you're an early, middle, or late degree placement, so if you're a January born Aquarius, then you are early. just estimate it that way. And then 0 to 9 degrees, if you're watching for your rising or moon, 0 to 9 degrees is early. Okay, so then the early February, so like the first 10 days or so, or 10 degrees through 19 degrees, if you're watching for your rising or moon, you're going to be the middle. And then the late degree placements, you'll be around the 11 through the rest of the sign. Okay, and 20 to 29 degrees. It's hard to write on here. Sorry, it looks weird, but hopefully you get the point. Okay, so now that we figured out if you're early, middle, and late, you can listen to see as there may be some differences in manifestation. But I will talk about some things that will be the same for all Aquarius placements. The first thing that I want to talk about has to do with the general climate, the general energy of this month. We have a massive amount of energies in Sagittarius, and that is always a wonderful thing for Aquarius, okay? We've got the Sun moving through Sag, Jupiter is starting a long-term transit, Mercury is going to be getting into Sag soon, eventually Venus will get there. It'll be a little longer. But as the Sun moves through the sign of Sagittarius, we talked about this some last month as well, it will make 60-degree angles with all of your Aquarius placements. Okay, so over the month that the Sun is in Sag, it will kiss every Aquarius placement. Give it a little boost, give it a little extra energy, give it more manifestation, sweet opportunities. And then we talked about, if you want to hear about Jupiter in the houses for you, then definitely go back to my November report, and I talk about what you can expect from Jupiter. But just a reminder that Jupiter is also going to come and make those kisses for Aquarius. But that kiss time is going to take a year. It's a little bit confusing when you're looking at this wheel. Really, how I like to visualize it is that this is a running track, okay, like at a school or at a park, and everybody's running around. And you have the young athlete, the moon, that takes 28 days to get around this whole track. Then you have like Pluto, that's like the old guy who just had a hip replacement and he's walking with his walker. He takes like 240 years to go around the full thing. And then you have everybody else in between. So somewhere between 28 days and 240 years, all of these placements will make it around this grand track in the sky. Okay, so when we're looking at these clusters of energy, you got to take into consideration how long it's going to take these things to move, because you see all these things are together, but unless you really think about how long it's taking each, you're not going to be able to understand what's going on. Okay, so the Sun is moving through Sag, is going to make those kisses. Jupiter over the next year is going to make the kisses to all your Aquarius placements, bringing profound expansion, even bigger opportunities. Mercury, in a shorter scale over weeks, will come and make these kisses to Aquarius. But the point is that planets in Sagittarius are awesome for Aquarian placements. So you've got a lot of that boost of energy besides the general optimism, expansion, and happiness and good luck that planets in Sag tend to bring. You have extra kisses for Aquarius. Okay, so let's look at some houses that are being highlighted for everybody. Okay, so this 10th house of work, you can see for early, middle, and late, is all being accentuated both in a long-term way from the Jupiter perspective, although this Jupiter is really energetically in the 11th house for your early degree placements. There's just a little bit of residual from the 10th house. But then you have the short term. Everybody, early, middle, and late, has short-term energy. This Sun is about to get out of there, but Mercury is still there. This Sun is a little while longer, but Mercury is still there. And for you late degree placements, you've got the Sun for longer than everybody else still, and then Mercury will get there. Okay, so 10th house is career, work, your place out in the world, making your mark, your ambitions. So it can bring lots of goodies in those arenas. And since we're getting out of the cloak of the retrograde energies, lots of new stuff bubbling up for you in the work sector. And then the energies are moving to the 11th house. You can see these early degree placements. It looks empty, right? But the Sun is about to be in there, okay? So, and for some of you it is, for you very early degree placements from the beginning. at some point in this month, all of you early degree placements, and most of you, well, all you middle will have some of it, and then it will be staggered. You late degree placements like the last week. You'll have the 11th house, which rules groups, organizations, humanitarian efforts, social media, friends, friendships, acquaintances, the internet, patents, technology, internet-based projects, community-based projects are going to start to get lit up. Okay, so you've got those energies going on. Now I want to talk about the eclipses. I will get the question, Annie, why are you talking about the January eclipses in the December report? And the answer is because the first eclipse is on January 5th. We feel eclipses 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, sometimes even more ahead of time. Okay, so these eclipse cycles bring massive amounts of change, radical change, and the changes from the solar eclipse, which is on January 5th at 15 degrees of Cap, you're going to be feeling that in December. So we need to know where that is and how that's going to manifest. There is a second eclipse, a lunar eclipse at 0 degrees of Leo on January 21st, and you actually can start to feel some of that in December as well. But I will go over the specifics of that in the January report, but since I give these out a month early, you'll have that information in time for December. Okay, so we're getting a sneak peek at this eclipse cycle. So remember, when we're working with eclipses, we're talking about storylines. The last time we had this storyline was between 2009 and 2011. So think about the types of changes that happened then, and maybe not the exact same things, but similar energies, similar fields of experience will be accentuated for you. So now from 2018, this started mid-2018, this cycle of Capricorn Cancer eclipses, that's going to run from mid-2018 to mid-2020. Okay, so for 2 years, we've got this story of Cap and Cancer for all signs. That's going to be bringing massive opportunities and reshuffling in work and home and work, shuffling, taking energy from work, putting it into home, taking energy from home, putting it into work. Overstimulation of both is generally what winds up happening. Lots of moves, lots of career opportunities and changes coming for everybody, but but also for Aquarius. So the solar eclipse tends to bring new energy. Okay, and so let's see where that's going to happen here. So 15 degrees of Cap for early degree placements. It's going to be in the 12th house. Middle degree placements, it's like on the line there. So it's either going to be in the 11th or 12th house for middle. And late degree placements, that's going to be in the 11th house. Maybe some of you earlier late degree placements might have that just on the edge there in the 12th house. Okay, so basically, every Aquarius has a chance for a 12th house eclipse manifestation. The middle and late degree placements have more of a potential to additionally or alternatively have the manifestation in the 11th house. Okay, so let's talk about the 12th house. 12th house has to do with your subconscious mind. It houses your fears and all that is, the karmic collective. So what I see happen a lot in times where eclipses, especially solar eclipses, are aspecting the 12th house is dramatic spiritual breakthrough. Like somebody's waking up. Like they can look back at this time, like that something big happens and they look back at this time where they changed their view on something and their lives are completely different. So you're standing in front of this massive potential for a sequence of spiritual breakthroughs or psychological breakthroughs or both, or awarenesses that change things, healing of mental issues, disturbances, challenges, addictions, facing and healing of fears. There is so much that can be done with problems that people think they have to deal with their whole lives. And that's one of my big messages that I feel is so important that I want to bring to everybody, that yes, there are people that will go through their lives and certain things will be a problem and they'll always be a problem their whole lives. That can happen. And at the same time, sitting next to that potential is a potential for true, lasting change. So if you are a person who has struggled with mental, heaviness, depression, chemical imbalances, or just in general fear stopping you from doing what you want to do and need to do, addictions of any kind, inner work can help you. Of course, keep your mainstream doctors or everybody on the, I always advocate using the full gamut of resources we have available to us. And when you're working with mental things, to definitely keep your practitioners, your psychological and, medical practitioners in the loop. But there are so many things you can do as far as past life regression, hypnosis, affirmation, supplementation for chemical imbalance, things that you can add to whatever your regimen is anyway. And there are also spiritual exercises. I have seen even the book Marriage of Spirit, which is one of my favorite books I recommend all the time. It's like $25 on Amazon. You can find it used for less. A beautiful, amazing South African author who put these together. There are writing exercises in section 2 of that book that I have seen people who are on medications with the help of their doctors come off of medications, lower the medications, have the medications start to work better by using these exercises, because they help to clear pressure off the mind and the cycling, that hamster wheel, that can help to make everything else work better. Okay, so maybe you have something like that in store for you. There's also the potential for new rest, like getting your sleep on tap. There are many health enthusiasts out there that don't sleep well, and sleeping well is one of the best things that you can do for your health. So researching, investigating, doing whatever you have to do that is healthy and makes sense. You've got to follow your own flow, but sleeping, good restorative sleep, is going to be your best health move ever. And this cycle can bring in new sleep patterns and new help and new awarenesses with sleep. Also working with your dreams, things like that, in a new way, a new meaningful way, using your subconscious mind for problem solutions, spiritual advancements. Also just having a retreat and rest and quiet, taking a retreat. This can represent you going on sabbatical, you taking some time off, you finding a quiet space in your home and keeping that space, things like that. Okay, so the 11th house manifestations are very different. They have to do with energy with other people, not quiet and in your own mind, interacting with people, So you all in the middle and late degree placements have this chance to see manifestation of new friendships, new social circles, new teams, groups, leading groups, organizations, working with them, starting humanitarian efforts, being involved with humanitarian efforts, getting your work out there on the internet more, anything having to do with patents, technology, etc. Brushed upon those before. So new opportunities in those arenas can very much arise, and the stars are getting to be really ripe for that. And we'll talk about more details as well as some of my favorite launch dates when we get into the general transit here next. So these are the things that are most on my mind for the Aquarius placements. Now I want to talk about the most beautiful days of the month, the things to watch out for, the launch times that I am loving, and other things to know about the month of December from the general transit. So the theme of December 2018 for all signs is ready to soar. Besides Jupiter getting deeper into Sagittarius, there are other reasons why this is the month that we have been waiting for such a long time. So this is the month that the long retrograde focus is finally ending. Most of the year of 2018, we've had personal planet retrogrades back to back and coinciding with each other. So even though the retrograde influences will still linger for most of the month, you'll definitely feel the cloak of retrograde energies becoming lighter and finally being removed at the end of the month. So Mercury is direct early in the month, December 6th. This change in directions coincides with the Sagittarius new moon, which we'll also talk about. It will take until December 18th for Venus to be done with its post-shadow period. Okay, so after December 18th, the Venus retrograde energy is completely done. But every day leading up to that, it's gone more and more anyway. And then December 25th is when the post-transit Mercury shadow period completely dissipates. And then we're going to be opening up into this brilliant and very rare period in January 2019 where every planet will be moving direct. So this is a really big time. So I've got some dates to note that we're going to go into details about, but in general, this month is about breaking free, being ready to soar, having liftoff, and we will have some things to look out for and I will go into the details of that. So, in general, well, actually, before I go into the details of this month, the dates to watch, remember that you can get a more in-depth and written version of these general transits when you sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. Okay, so you get all of the general transit reports a month early, like I do all my horoscopes, via email when you sign up for my free email newsletter. So if you want to be kept up to date for your planning and have a written version, then definitely go there. Okay, so we start out the month. So here I've got our visuals. We're going to look at Venus and Uranus. Okay, so we're just kind of ignoring the rising energy. We're not focusing on houses in this reading. We're just focusing on the relationship between the planets because it's a general reading, okay? So Venus rules love and money. And whenever we have Venus opposing Uranus, we're generally in for surprises involving love and money. Sometimes they can be great surprises, like a chance romantic encounter or a heating up of your love life in some other way, or awesome money that comes out of nowhere, which also could coincide with having to work more, which could bring overstimulation, or just the surprise factor of money coming in can be, a little overwhelming. But it can also bring financial and love surprises that aren't welcome. So a fight with your beloved, an expense, or some other challenging financial news. Generally, the things that happen with these Venus-Uranus oppositions are quick to blow over. So if there's a fight, usually it will pass quickly. If there's a surprise with money, it usually tends to settle its way out pretty quickly. But do be aware that this transit that actually occurs on November 30th, on December 1st, is when these surprise energies are more common. And whenever I give you exact dates, remember that the transits don't always manifest as far as our experience of them on the exact date that they happen. So days before 12/1 and days after 12/1, you could experience these shocks or surprises. Okay, so that's the first thing to look out for this month. Something in general for the month of December to watch out for or to be aware of is that we've got a ton of Sag energy. This brings upliftment. This Mercury is going to move into Sag, so we've got these three planets moving in Sag, making aspects with each other. And I'll talk about some of the dates that are really amazing from these getting together. But the general energy of busyness, of travel, of learning, of teaching, people who are in the teaching businesses or speaking or publishing could be lighting up like the 4th of July for every sign. Anything having to do with international travel plans or long-distance travel plans can be heated up here. Anything with languages, international business, anything like that. So, and in general, optimism, busyness, running around, and kind of possibly exhausting yourself, which now we move into this talk here, okay? So all these Sag energies are going to be here bringing all this busy stuff in. And then at some point, each of these are going to be making squares, 90-degree angles. Challenging, could be stressful, with these Pisces planets. So the way I always see that, and I have a very personal look at this because I have a ton of planets in Sag myself, and I tend to run myself to exhaustion. So a lot of that is going to be a theme of this month, running yourself to exhaustion. And the Pisces planets are going to be calling out for rest. Z's. You want to get more sleep and you want to get more rest. So this extroverted, busy energy is going to be competing with this sleep and rest and kind of a dreamy, artistic flow, emotional energy. So you'll see throughout the month points where those conflict. And if you take the warning to rest, you can save yourself from the overexhaustion and try to find a perfect balance, which ultimately, these 90-degree angles can help you do. So rest is going to be in order, busyness is going to be in order, and that's going to be a big theme of the month. Okay, so let's look at some other aspects here that were going to be important. So Mercury is going direct, as we said, on the 6th. So expect some awkwardness there as Mercury changes direction. And then the shadow period runs until 12:25. On 12:18, we have Venus post-transit shadow period finishing off. So then Venus is clear. Okay, and then on December 6th and 7th, depending on your time zone, we've got the new moon in Sagittarius. That's going to be at 15 degrees. And so new beginnings and time to make your new moon wishes in all of the areas of everything Sag, which we talked about before. Different countries, languages, cultures, teaching, learning, travel, international work, also spiritual or religious projects, writing, publishing, speaking. There's going to be an aspect with Mars and Neptune bringing an extra dreamy energy. See, Mars and Neptune are going to be together at the time of that new moon. And some things that come in may feel like they're too wonderful to be real. Very dreamy energy there. We're also going to have this time, as Mercury is still in Scorpio, trining Chiron. And that's going to be on 12:9, which is an extra sweetness, healing, solutions are more likely to roll in at that time. December 20th, mark a big star in your calendar for the days around December 20th through the 22nd. Okay, we're going to really 12:20, 12:21, 12:22. What happened there? There we go. Because on those days, first we're going to have the Sun trine Uranus. Okay, so it's going to make a 120-degree angle, the most favorable in all astrology. So a boost to anything and everything. This could bring happy surprises. It's more likely to bring happy surprises. Also, Venus is making a beautiful aspect at that time with Neptune. And one of the biggest things is that this Mercury is going to come and make this conjunction with Jupiter, which very often brings enhanced luck, good news, amazing things in the areas of Sagittarius that we mentioned. And so I'm putting this day and this period of time as my favorite launch days of the month. So even though, like I had said, Mercury doesn't regain its full strength till 12:25, the days that are just before that have so much beautiful energy. So if you have to bust something out, these days could be perfect for that. There'll be more time in January and into February if you're not quite ready, but there's an amazing energy about, busting forth at this time. Okay, so on December 22nd, we have a full moon at almost 1 degree of Cancer. And there's a little challenge with Mars and also some sweet aspects working at one with Uranus. But in general, that full moon can bring lots of family awesomeness. There is a chance for a little bit of conflict with the Mars and also a Chiron aspect. But many people will have amazing family fruition, fun, emotional, mostly for the good, but there could be some little tweaks in there. But just typical holiday family awesomeness, very likely around that time. Okay, so then there are some other aspects towards the end of the month, which is, 12:28. We've got another sweet aspect with Venus. See, during this month, Venus is going to come and make a nice aspect to Saturn, and then Venus is going to make a nice aspect to Pluto. So this is going to be really good for sweetness in your relationship. This can be really great for good news involving work and money. So there are lots of great boosts involving Venus, which is perfect because we're clear of the Venus retrograde energies and everybody's pretty much raring to go. Okay, so those are the things that I most wanted to talk about for the general transits. Definitely mark those dates in your calendar for really great energies. So then we will head into January just really with a legitimate feeling of a new year. If you've been listening to my reports for years, you know that I talk about certain Januaries because of certain transits not really feeling like a new year. But this January is really going to feel like a new year. And all of these things in December are leading up to that open energy. So we love that. Something else that is important to note if you are a holiday shopper, that because the energies from Mercury are still strong at the beginning of the month, it actually favors last minute shopping. So the closer you're getting to the holiday times, the more energy, more clear the energy will be. Okay, so just so you have that heads up for holiday shopping, the later part, the couple of weeks before the holiday times, are best for shopping even compared to November and early December. Okay, so those are the things most on my mind for the general transits. So I hope you loved the added component of the visuals for the charts. If you would like to have my personal insights about your chart, then definitely go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and book a live reading. If you resonate with how I teach astrology and you want to learn more for personal or professional purposes, if you'd like to be an astrologer or include astrology as part of your professional offering, then I am going to be enrolling now, December into January, for the next run of my astrology apprenticeship program. So you can see that at AnnieHelpsYou.com, plus lots of other offerings there. If you'd like written horoscopes by me for your sign each month, go to CozyBySweetStarlight.com. At CozyBySweetStarlight.com, I will write about some things that I mention in the videos, but sometimes I talk about other stuff that I don't cover in the videos. So you get more information about what the month looks like for you, and plus great reads for each sign and lifestyle blogs by me and up-and-coming bloggers that I have on my site. If you're a traveler, then definitely check out my astrology travel reports, my monthly astrology travel reports at AstrologyKissed Travel Bliss. At AstrologyKissedTravelBliss.com, you get those monthly travel astrology reports plus other travel blogs and lots of beautiful pictures on all of my sites. So they're definitely something to see. If you're into tarot, you want to learn tarot, you want a tarot reading, then definitely check out my husband's work, B.R. Newman, at IamHelios.com, IamHelios.com. You can check out his amazing offerings there. So I hope you have a wonderful month and a wonderful end to your year, and I'll see you next year. Bye.